are venomous and some are not. Beautiful.
Since snakes don't hurt you unless they feel threatened.
Yeah, snakes are only going to hurt a human being if they are, threatened. That's as simple as it is.
King snakes eat other venomous snakes.
That is why they're called king snakes, because their job is to eat snakes. It's what they do. One more.
They do not fly.
They do not fly. This is totally true. Unless you're a paradise tree snake, whose nickname is flying snake.
Wait, they can actually fly?
No, because here's the thing. Remember, to fly, you have to have some kind of wing. He's actually a gliding snake, but he can glide 150 feet. So that means he can glide from here to where you signed in. Yeah. Now what's cool is imagine being a bird on another tree, just sitting there. And all of a sudden this snake just falls out of the sky right on top of your head. Do you think the bird expects that?
No.
That's how the snake gets his food. That's why he does that. That's his job. But one of the important things we said they're reptiles. But are snakes the only reptile?
No.
So who else is a reptile besides a snake? Who else? Every single alligator, crocodile, and caiman.
Lizard?
Every single lizard on this planet. And one more. Turtles and tortoises. Well, fantastic. What that means is, if all four of those guys are in the same group, alligator, snake, turtle, lizard, then there are things that they have to have in common. We mentioned one earlier. They do have scales. What was it you said earlier? They're all cold-blooded, absolutely. But are reptiles the only animals with scales? Who else has scales? Scales. From the tip of their nose all the way down, no matter how big or how little. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm working. All the way to the tip of their tail, they have got scales. But here's the cool thing. Snakes have two different kinds of scales. They got little bitty scales on their back, and then they got big, fat, wide scales on their back. Now, why do you think the ones on their belly would be different from their back? What you think? In science, we give everything really hard names, right? So, you guys ready for the really hard science name of these scales? They are called scutes. That's what they're called. They're called scutes. It's spelled a little bit differently, but any specialized reptile scale is called a scute. So the ones on their belly help them grip and move. Easy peasy. But then what are the ones on their back for? What you got? Yeah, but how does it protect them? What do you think? Well, let's think about this. Who is a predator for a snake? What animals like to eat snakes? Go for it. Who knows? She's like, oh, nope, I had the other question. Birds, love it. Hawk, definitely a bird. Yeah, birds, bears, bats, bobcats, house cats, dogs, lizards, fish, frogs, other snakes. Every animal on this planet that eats meat pretty much will eat a snake. So do you think that having pretty much little tiny fingernails all over your back is going to stop the teeth of the bear?
No.
No. What about the talons of the hawk?
No.
Not going to happen. What if, though, the hawk can't see you in the first place? Oh!
Are they for camouflaging?
There you go. Okay, so it definitely helps, but it's mostly for camouflage. Because poor old snakes, man, they are right in the middle of the food chain. Well, remember, if you're in the middle, that means there's all those dudes trying to eat you, right? But then there's also the dudes down below that you're trying to eat. Well, for a snake, camouflage is super important because he's an ambush predator. Now, we know predator is predator, but what does ambush mean? What you got? Yeah, a snake spends 80% of his life sitting still, just waiting for food to come. And I know what the adults are thinking, what an awesome Saturday. Just be sitting on the couch like, sandwich. Okay, that would be great. Okay, but here's the thing. When he's sitting there waiting, that camouflage has him hidden. And he's just patiently sitting in the air, waiting for that mouse, lizard, or whatever to get close enough. And then when it comes near to him, buddy, he's got it. Now he does. But here's a more important question. If he's not camouflaged, are they ever going to come close? There you go. So for a snake, camouflage keeps them safe, but it also keeps them fed. And that's why different snakes live in different places. It depends on where you can camouflage. But now, there is a problem with having scales all over your body. What's the problem with having scales everywhere? What you got? Well, they can, but that's every wild animal. Believe me, if you saw my horses this morning, you'd be like, they were just big giant balls of mud. Say it again. sometimes, what you got? Way over here. Yeah, the problem is the scales don't grow, so you have to shed them off. In nature, there's always a plus and a minus. So the plus is you have camouflage, but the minus is you have to shed. What's super cool for us, they leave it laying around. You can just find it. And when you find it, sometimes it's in pieces, sometimes it's in all kinds of stuff. But check this one out.
What type of snake is that?
Okay, I'm 5'3". That means that animal peeled at least 5 feet of his skin off of his body all at one time. You think that hurts?
Yeah.
No, you're never going to see a snake in the woods going, "Ah!" That doesn't happen. It's dead skin. He just crawls out of it. But now, do we shed our skin?
Yes.
Yes. You get your skin every 20 days. We just don't do it in one big creepy people.
That's nasty.
Y'all laugh, but mamas, you know you'd hang that up. You were fine. So cute. He would totally do that. Okay? That's normal. Remember that shedding's just a healing process. If you didn't shed your skin, you'd still have every boo-boo that you got since you were a baby. Same thing for the snake. Not only does he grow, but if he had like a cut or a scrape, then when he sheds, it'll get smaller and smaller until it's gone. That's how they heal. What's super cool for us is if you find it, you can tell. Super lucky. Sometimes you can tell things like, see how dark that is? That tells me this snake was probably either really dark brown or black. But if you're super lucky, you can still see patterns. See those little checkerboard patterns on the bottom? Well, that tells me exactly who it is. Because there's only one snake in the whole state of Georgia, black and colored, 5 feet long with a
King snake.
on its belly. That's an Eastern rat snake. It's the only one.
Oh, rat snake.
Okay?
What's the difference?
It's not always
Snakes.
this easy.
They
That.
still eat rats.
For example, check this one out. It's not the same length, but what color do you think that one was? Yellow with brown stripes. Yeah. Now this one looks about the same, just shorter. What color do you think that one was?
Purple.
Red, black, and yellow circles.
Purple.
Remember, this is dead skin. Where's the color? On the snake, where it needs to be. Because without that camouflage, remember, he's not alive. So sometimes it's really super easy, sometimes it's not. But if it's a big long snake, it's either in the king snake family or it's in the rat snake family. And my buddy Grizz, hi Grizzle. Hey baby.
No way.
Oh my.
Why did you wanted it?
I want to hold it.
I don't.
Now,
It's too big.
Grizz happens to be in the rat
So-
snake family.
Exactly.
And of course we
That's
call
good.
them rat snake family because what do they love to eat? Yeah, but here's the most important
Tars.
thing to understand.
Tars.
Most snakes don't eat rats. That's not their job. Okay? Snakes eat everything from bugs to slugs to lizards to birds to eggs to other snakes to everything. Okay? Rat snakes, their specialty is eating small mammals. Is what they do. This guy was actually found 20 feet up a tree eating bats out of a bat box. Now, how does
Poor
an
bats.
harmless, legless animal get 20
Right.
feet up a tree? What's he doing? Climbing. It's that simple. Rat snakes are grouped together.
I know how
because they're
snakes
experts
climb.
climbing. And
It
it's all
looks
about
really
those
weird.
belly scales.
Yeah.
Most snakes. You want to talk? But the key is rat snakes, their belly scales are actually shaped like a loaf of bread. So they're not straight across. They have these curved edges. Those curved around, they climb straight up. That's their specialty. But we call them rat snakes, like I say, because their specialty is eating the small mammals. So that means rats, squirrels, mice, chipmunks, anything like that. But here's what you got to think about. When he eats a rat, it's gone. Everything. The hair's gone, the toenails, the meat, the bones, everything. Totally destroyed. Now take that idea and go one step past it. What if the rat that he just ate had fleas?
Oh.
Well, what do you think happens to the fleas? They're totally destroyed in his digestive tract. They're gone. Now go one step past that. What if those fleas were carrying a disease? What happens to
snake
the
dead.
disease?
Dead snake.
It's gone. It gets destroyed in his digestive tract. So not only are these guys getting rid of pests for you, they're getting rid of parasites that feed on you, and they're stopping the spread of disease that can kill you, like the Black Death.
What?
Okay? But keep about this in mind. We said they're cold-blooded, right? That means he can't give me a disease. Our body temperatures are too different. I don't really see a downside of having this guy around, do you? Well, technically there's one. Because if he eats, what has to happen? He has to poop. It's that simple. And a lot of people ask me, where does it come out? Okay,
Out of his
nature's rules are
butt.
pretty simple, right? If I put food in that end, so what you see on snakes.
We don't wanna
Here,
see
buddy, I
it.
wanna show 'em your honey.
No, we don't want to see
You
that.
one little scale
I don't think you
that's
want to show that.
That's called the venter scale. That is an outhole for a snake. So
Ugh.
anything coming out of the snake comes out right there.
Why do
So if they're a rat snake, they're
What's the
angry.
point of
They
knowing
come
that?
out right there.
Why?
If they are a rat snake, they have
It
white
went in her
rings,
shirt.
white rings are gonna come right there.
No.
Okay?
Lord.
Everything comes out that way. Don't worry, I can't fire it. So where's the warmest part of my body?
Neck.
It's my head and neck. 40% of your body heat comes out of your head, so he's just trying to get to the warmest spot. But now, rat snake eats rats, no problem. But the scales are really his only specialty. He doesn't have heat sensing pits, he doesn't have infrared vision, no nothing like that.
Aw.
He's hunting almost 100% off of sight and smell. But how do snakes smell? Go for it. Yeah, so every time you see him sticking his tongue out, he's not being rude. No. He's just picking up smells. Because inside his mouth, that's the Jacobson's organ. That's the smelling part of his brain. So every time he sticks his tongue out, he sticks it right in the top of his mouth. Here's the weird thing, though. His tongue is forked. Why would you want to have a tongue that points in two directions? What you think? Huh? It gives him more surface area for smelling, and he can smell in both directions. Hey, excuse you. We don't do that in public. That's just rude. But now, he has a great sense of smell, but that's pretty much it. We said also it's sight, right? And that's why people ask me all the time, they have no eyelids. Now, the reason for the no eyelids is actually really, really smart. We said that he's going to track this food down, right? Yes. How does he actually catch it? He doesn't have hands. What you got?
He attacks it with his mouth.
He has to grab it with his mouth. Well, guess what your eyelids do for you? They protect you. And what that means is anytime something comes near your face, you close your eyes. You can't help it. It's called a flinch reflex. It's actually so ingrained in your brain that when I say the word blink, half of you guys actually blink, and you don't even realize you're doing it. And the more I say the word blink, the more of you blink. And the more you try not to blink when I say the word blink, the harder it is not to blink. It's not a joke. Here's the problem though. If you catch your food with your mouth, seriously dude, you are so excited today. He's like, I really like the microphone thing. If you catch your food with your mouth and your eyes shut every time you try to catch it, are you going to be successful?
No.
So snakes purposely don't have eyelids so they can see to catch their food. But how do they protect their eyes if they don't have eyelids? What? Yeah. The only clear scale on a snake's body are the ones on his eyes. They're called eye caps. I know you want to stay and visit with everybody, don't you, silly boy? The cool thing is when they shed every single scale, including those eye caps. That's how we actually know when they're getting ready to shed because their eyes turn blue. Guys, remember questions at the end.
That's cool.
Okay? So when their eyes are